The discovery in the scanner flickered weakly as she navigated the twisted corridors of the derelict human vessel Resolute Dawn. The ship had been drifting for 37 standard cycles. Its crew long vanished into the cosmic graveyard that surrounded the Kepler Nebula. Her species, the Zephyrian Collective, had claimed salvage rights, and she'd volunteered for the dangerous work. Anything to prove herself worthy of the Fleet Academy. The emergency lighting cast eerie shadows across bulkheads that bore strange human symbols and warnings in their primitive script. Lunara's translator struggled with the archaic language, offering fragments: danger, quarantine, and most unsettling, specimen containment breach. She paused at a sealed door marked with biohazard symbols. Her scanner detected life signs, beyond faint but unmistakable. Protocol demanded she report immediately to her supervisor, Vex Captain Corvain, but curiosity overrode caution. The Zephyrians had always wondered about human research vessels and their mysterious cargo. The door hissed open, revealing a cargo bay filled with shattered containment units. Crystalline fragments crunched beneath her boots as she advanced, following the weak life signature. In the corner, beneath a collapsed support beam, she found it. The creature was unlike anything in the galactic database. No larger than her torso, it possessed jet-black fur marked with brilliant white stripes. Its eyes impossibly large and glowing with an inner teal light tracked her movement with predatory intelligence that shouldn't exist in something so small. 4 powerful limbs ended in retractable claws that could easily shred through hull. Plating, yet it made no aggressive moves. Blood seeped from a gash along its hind leg where debris had pinned it. The creature's breathing was labored, its magnificent eyes dulled with pain and exhaustion. When Lunara approached, it didn't snarl or strike. Instead, it watched her with an expression she recognized, despite the alien feature's dash hope that her come. Unit crackled with Corvain's voice. Salvage Team 7, report status. We're detecting anomalous readings from your sector. Lunara's finger hovered over the transmit button. Standing orders were explicit. Any unknown life forms, especially those showing predatory characteristics, were to be reported for immediate containment and study. The collective xenobiologists would dissect this creature within hours of transport. But something in those glowing eyes stopped her. Despite every instinct screaming danger, despite the obvious lethality of its design, the creature radiated not menace, but vulnerability. It was alone, hurt, and afraid emotions she understood too well from her own childhood. As an orphan in the collective's vast bureaucracy, Lunara clicked off her cum and knelt beside the trapped creature. Easy there, she whispered, reaching slowly for her medical kit. I'm going to help you. The creature's eyes never left Lunara's face as she carefully moved the debris pinning its leg. Despite claws that could slice through titanium alloy, it remained perfectly still, somehow understanding her intent. When she gently lifted its injured limb, it released a soft trill, not a growl, but something almost musical. What are you? She murmured, applying biofoam to the wound. The creature's fur was softer than Zephyrian silk, and she noticed intricate patterns in the white markings that seemed to shimmer with their own light. And what were the humans doing with you? Her scanner beeped insistently. The life signs weren't just unusual, they were impossible. The creature's cellular structure showed adaptive capabilities that defied known biology. Its DNA contained sequences that could only exist in theoretical simulations. Yet here it breathed before her the cum unit crackled again. Salvage 7, you've gone silent. Are you experiencing technical difficulties? Lunara glanced at the creature, now cleaning its treated wound with careful precision. It had begun making soft sounds, not quite purring, but a rhythmic vibration that resonated in her chest. When she reached out tentatively, it pressed its head against her palm, those remarkable eyes closing with apparent contentment. I can't leave you here, she whispered. She activated her emergency beacon, the universal signal for salvage complete. Returning to base, it would buy her time before Corvain sent another team to investigate. Working quickly, she fashioned a carrying pouch from her spare equipment bag. The creature offered no resistance as she gently placed it inside, only those same musical trills, navigating back through the ship's corridors. Lunara felt a warmth against her chest where the pouch rested. The creature had fallen asleep, its breathing slow and steady. Whatever this being was, it trusted her completely, a trust that felt both precious and terrifying as she reached the docking bay. Her shuttle pilot Jorik looked up from his control panels. Find anything valuable in that rust bucket? Just standard salvage, Lunara lied smoothly, adjusting her jacket to better conceal the pouch. Some rare metals and a few data cores. Nothing that can't wait for proper cataloging. During the journey back to the collective research station New Meridian, the creature remained quiet, occasionally shifting against her ribs. She found herself wondering about its origins. Human ships didn't carry passengers, they were exploration and research vessels. This creature had to be connected to their mysterious disappearance as they approached the station's docking bay. Lunara made her decision. Whatever this creature was, wherever it came from, she wouldn't let it become another specimen in the collective's endless laboratories. The humans had tried to study it, and look what happened to them. She would protect it, even if it cost her everything. Secrets and revelations. Luna's quarters on New Meridian were cramped but private, a benefit of her junior status that kept her away from the main crew decks. She sealed the door and activated privacy shields before opening the equipment pouch. The creature emerged cautiously, its teal eyes adjusting to the soft lighting. Welcome to your new home, she whispered, spreading a blanket on the floor, at least temporarily. The creature explored with careful steps, nose twitching as it investigated every corner. When it found her small food preparation area, it sat back on its haunches and tilted its head, an unmistakably intelligent gesture of inquiry. Lunara checked her personal stores. Standard Zephyrian rations wouldn't work for an unknown alien physiology. She needed to understand what this creature required, but any research would be digital traces that Corvan could discover. Instead, she accessed her personal datapad and began searching historical records. Hours passed as she combed through archive reports from human space. The creature curled up beside her, occasionally making those musical sounds when she absently stroked its fur. Finally, she found a classified report from the human research vessel, Prometheus, filed just before the great silence that had befallen human space. Project Genesis, she read aloud. Attempt to synthesize optimal survival traits in a single organism. The report detailed humanity's desperate final gambit, creating a species that could survive in any environment, adapt to any threat, and carry forward the essence of what made humans remarkable. The creature's ears perked up at the word Genesis, and it approached the datapad with unmistakable recognition. When Lunara scrolled to images of similar creatures, it placed a paw on the screen and made excited trilling sounds. You understand, don't you? Lunara breathed. You know what you are. Further reading revealed the truth that made her hearts race with both wonder and terror. These weren't just laboratory experiments, they were humanity's children. Each creature contained genetic sequences from dozens of human volunteers, combined with adaptive traits from across a known space. They were designed to be the ultimate survivors, capable of outlasting any catastrophe that might befall their creators. But the project had gone wrong. The creatures had developed beyond their parameters, showing not just intelligence but something approaching transcendence. They could communicate telepathically, manipulate energy fields, and most terrifying of all, they could bond with other species at a cellular level, sharing memories and experiences. A soft chime from her door interrupted her research. Salvage team debrief in 10 minutes, came Corvain's voice through the comm. Lunara looked at the creature at Genesis. She realized she should call it. I have to go. Stay hidden, and whatever you do, don't make any sounds. Genesis nodded and padded over to her sleeping alcove, curling up beneath the covers. As Lunara sealed her quarters and headed for the briefing room, she couldn't shake the feeling that she was walking into a trap. Corvain was waiting with two security officers, and chief researcher Melvin. Their expressions were grim. Lunara? Corvain began. We need to discuss what you really found on that human ship. The hunt begins. The briefing room felt like a trap closing around her. Corvain's cybernetic eye whirred as it focused on Lunara, while chief researcher Melvin consulted a datapad with growing excitement. The security officers, Braxtel and Vrian, flanked the exits with casual menace. Our long-range sensors detected energy signatures consistent with banned genetic research, Melvin announced, his gill slits fluttering with anticipation. The readings ceased precisely when you returned from your salvage mission. Lunara kept her expression neutral despite her racing heart. I followed standard protocols. Everything recoverable is logged in my report. Yet your scanner data shows several gaps, Corvain observed. Curious blank spots where readings simply ... stop, almost as if something was interfering with your equipment. Through their bond, when had that formed? Lunara felt Genesis stirring in her quarters. The creature was afraid, sensing her distress across the station's corridors. She tried to project calm, hoping it would understand the need. For silence? Interference is common in derelict ships, she replied. Electromagnetic decay, failing power systems, or active camouflage systems, Melvin interrupted. The humans were notorious for their biological weapons research. Project Genesis, in particular, created entities capable of mental manipulation and energy field generation. Lunara's blood chilled. They knew. Corvain leaned forward. We're going to search the station, deck by deck. If you've inadvertently brought something aboard, it's not your fault. But we need to contain it before it poses a threat to the crew. Sir, I can assure you. Alarms suddenly shrieked through the station. Emergency lights bathed everything. In hellish red, as the automated voice announced, biohazard containment breach. All personnel to emergency stations. Through her connection with Genesis, Lunara felt a surge of protective fury. The creature had sensed the approaching search teams, and was preparing to defend itself and her. She had to reach it before someone got hurt, the salvage bay. She shouted over the alarms. It must have been in the cargo I brought back. I need to help contain it. She bolted from the briefing room before anyone could stop her, racing through. Corridors filled with panicking crew members. Security teams rushed past her toward the salvage section, exactly what she'd hoped for. Behind her, she heard Corvain cursing and giving chase. Her quarters were in chaos when she arrived. Genesis had grown, not physically, but the air around it shimmered with energy that made her eyes water. The creature's fur stood on end, its claws extended, and those teal eyes blazed with otherworldly light. Easy, she whispered, despite knowing they had no time. We have to go, now. Genesis looked at her with profound sadness, then at the door where heavy footsteps approached. In that moment, Lunara understood. The creature wouldn't run. It couldn't not without endangering everyone on the station. The humans had built too much power into their creation. Lunara? Corvain's voice echoed from the corridor. Stand clear. We're coming in. She looked at Genesis, seeing not a monster or a weapon, but a child humanity's child, orphaned and afraid, carrying the weight of its creator's desperate hope. In its eyes, she saw the same loneliness that had driven her to volunteer for dangerous salvage work, the same need to prove worth in an uncaring universe. We run together or not at all, she decided. Genesis tilted its head. And for the first time, Lunara heard its voice, not vocal cords, but thoughts flowing directly into her mind. Together. Freedom among the stars. The docking bay erupted in chaos as Lunara and Genesis burst through the maintenance shaft. Security teams shouted warnings while crew members scattered from the creature that moved like liquid shadow between obstacles. Genesis had accepted the genetic bond fully now, and Lunara could feel its enhanced strength flowing through her own limbs. Seal the bay. Corvain's voice echoed from the observation deck. Don't let them reach the ships. But they were already moving, Genesis flowing ahead while energy fields deflected stunner blasts. The creature's abilities were awakening under stress, not just physical prowess, but the full spectrum of humanity's final gift to the universe. It manipulated gravity fields to leap impossible distances, bent light to confuse targeting systems, and projected a telepathic shield that left attackers momentarily stunned. Lunara reached her salvage shuttle and slammed the activation sequence. As the engines whined to life, Genesis bounded aboard, its form already stabilizing as the immediate threat passed. Through the viewports, she could see Corvain and his security teams racing toward armed patrol craft. Where can we go? She wondered, aloud as they cleared the station's docking bay. They'll track us anywhere in collective space. Genesis pressed against her mind, sharing images and coordinates that made her gasp. Not words, but pure understanding. There were others, scattered across the galaxy, hidden in derelict ships and forgotten research stations. Genesis's siblings waited. The humans hadn't created just one creature, but dozens, each carrying different aspects of their species' remarkable nature. Find them, Genesis projected. Unite them. Humanity's children must not remain alone. As pursuit ships launched behind, and then Lunara plotted a course toward the first coordinates Genesis had shared, a dead system in the neutral zone where another human research vessel drifted. Her hands moved across the controls with unnatural precision, Genesis's enhanced reflexes merging with her own knowledge of stellar navigation. The collective will never stop hunting us, she warned. Genesis's response carried not fear, but determination tinged with ancient sadness. Through their bond, she glimpsed fragments of genetic memory humans facing extinction, pouring their hopes and dreams into these remarkable beings. Each Genesis creature carried not just survival traits, but the essence of human resilience, creativity, and stubborn refusal to surrender. Then we become what they made us to be, came the telepathic reply. We survive, we adapt, we protect those who cannot protect themselves. The first jump point loomed ahead, a gateway to freedom and uncertainty. Behind them, Corvain's pursuit ships fired warning shots, demanding surrender. Lunara looked at Genesis, seeing not an alien creature, but a partner, someone who understood what it meant to be alone in a vast, uncaring universe. Ready? She asked. Genesis settled beside her pilot's chair, its teal eyes reflecting starlight from the viewports. In those depths, she saw the future taking shape, a galaxy where humanity's children would carry forward their creator's greatest qualities, finding others who needed protection, building something new from the ashes of what was lost. Ready, Genesis confirmed. They jumped in the years that followed. Stories would spread through the outer system's tales of a young Zephyrian and her impossible companion, gathering the lost children of humanity and forging them into something unprecedented. Neither collective bureaucrats nor empire commissars could contain them, for they carried within themselves the one thing their creators had always possessed in abundance. Hope. And in the deepest reaches of space, where ancient human research stations drifted like monuments to ambition and sacrifice, more Genesis creatures stirred at the telepathic call of their awakened sibling, ready to step into the light and claim their inheritance as humanity's eternal legacy.